In this episode, I sit down with Angie, an insurance broker, and we discuss all things general insurance. We go over the consequences of being underinsured, some of the things that you might not be thinking about with your insurance, thinking about the devil that's in the detail of the clauses. I know there's a big shock that I had when talking about business insurance and what that actually means when you're underinsured as a business. It is not the same as your own insurance. So stick around to hear that. Listen for the tips and tricks in here, because I am going away to make sure that I am covered and I understand my policies better after doing this episode. And I hope you will too. Enjoy. Welcome to the Enriched Wealth Podcast. Today I'm joined by Angie O'Rourke from Bendigo Insurance Brokers, and she's an insurance broker, so we're excited to get into a conversation today about all things insurance. So Angie, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. I want to start off with what got you into insurance. Tell us a bit about your background, tell us a bit about the journey. What sort of led you down the road to where you are now?
Just by chance, really. It's a very long time ago.
Yep.
When I was 16 and a half.
So about 10 years ago then?
Yeah, or maybe 20.
Okay, Yep, all right, no worries.
And a job came up in the local insurance company in Frankston back in the day.
Yep.
And so I went for the interview
and you've
since then.
Been in the business ever since?
Yes, I have actually.
And obviously Frankston's not Bendigo, so did you make a move to Bendigo at some stage as well too in that? Or?
In 2018.
Okay, very good.
Yes, so based in Frankston and down in Mornington.
Yep.
Most of my life with an insurance company and then with brokers.
Yes.
And ever since.
Yep. And then moved up here in 2018 and rest is history.
Yeah, well actually I went to Griffith first in 2015. Griffith, yes.
How'd you find that?
Yes, it was great. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I've got a brother-in-law that lives up there, so I've been there a couple of times. Oh, yes. It is barren paddocks until you hit Griffith, and then it's this little oasis out in the middle of nowhere.
And so much happening up there, you would not know,
Yes.
So, but it was just a good opportunity. We wanted a tree change.
Yep.
And a job came up.
Well, that's certainly a tree change.
It was very long, 7.5 hours. So, but it was too good to not take up.
Okay, excellent.
Yep. And that helped me get my job in Bendigo too. So
excellent. And so now you're based at Bendigo Insurance Brokers here in Bendigo as an insurance broker. And we're going to spend a bit of time unpacking what an insurance broker is, because I think some people they hear the word broker and what does that do? How does that work? And all of this. So I'd like to unpack a little bit about what's an insurance broker actually do? What do you do day to day, Angie?
Well, we look after clients, really. That's what it comes down to. And that's probably the difference between a broker and like an insurance company.
Yes.
The insurance company looks after their clients, and act on behalf of the insurance company, but we act on behalf of the client.
Right. So let's say I called up an insurance company, and I won't name any names just so I don't offend anyone here, but I call up my insurance company and have a talk to them. They will be able to sell me their products.
Correct.
Within their suite, and they'll be able to help me within what they have.
Correct.
But you sit down with the client and say, hey, what do you need? Who's best suited to give you what you need, rather than
correct.
Only being able to choose. And if I want to change, I've tried that before, and you sit on hold for a couple of hours, then you talk to the next one, and then you've got to talk to about 5, and they'll have their online quotes, but they're all got conditions, and so it gets a bit messy. So you come in on the client side.
That's right,
and then deal with, and you've got how many insurance companies that you
Depending on the insurance. The domestic, we've probably got 7.
Yep.
And vehicles, we do all businesses as well.
Yep.
And professional indemnity and public liability. So we do everything.
So quite a range of
all
areas.
Insurances.
Yep. So basically any general insurance, if you're thinking, if I've got a boat and I'd like to get a boat to start off with, but if I've got a boat, I can come get that insured.
Yes.
I'm actually a client, and I'm happy to say that. So I get my cars looked after and the house looked after and things like that.
Yep.
So and then your job is then working with people when they come to you and say, this is what I need, or each year you're actually reviewing as well.
That's right. Yeah. So when people come and they want us to look at their insurance, we obtain all the details and discuss, if it's something standing out, like if they have high contents, we'll discuss what do you have, and just give that advice. Most of the policies don't have any limits like on antiques or artwork, but some do.
Yep.
Or they might have a lot of jewellery. So we just look at what their needs are, and then we look at the options available.
And do you find too you're asking questions that they may not have thought about as well, like have you got this, do you have cover for that?
Yes.
And those kind of things, because I think there's probably a lot of things, if we use the house as an example, there's a lot of things that people have that they might not think they can insure separately.
Correct.
Is that?
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
And they actually even think they have items that are insured. I was talking to a client recently and we're looking at the whole property.
Yes.
And they were talking about a trailer, a cool room on a trailer.
Yep.
And they thought, and they thought that was covered under their contents, but it's not.
Because it's separate.
It's a motor vehicle.
Ah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said it was a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. So it's just those sort of questions. And
Yep. And what do you, if we just stay on the house insurance as the example for a minute, what's some of the things that people don't think about when they're thinking about insurance? Like because I know we've talked about my policy before, and there was even all little exclusions around the air conditioner and the motherboard within the air conditioner. Like there's all of these things that people just aren't always aware of. So what are some of the things that people may not be thinking about when they're looking at insurance and they're just getting a quote on price, or they're just getting a quote on,
Yep.
just look after the cover, and they don't really think about it, because the devil's in the detail, isn't it?
It is. And the difference, I mean, I suppose with the brokers, most of the policies include everything. So, includes fusion, it includes flood, and fusion's up to a certain age limit of motors.
So what's fusion?
Fusion of motors, like an air conditioning burns out.
Yep.
Or a fridge motor burns out.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, and so that's fusion, and that's an addition, I think, in most of the direct companies. Not all of them, but...
And if you're not aware that you don't have it...
Exactly,
you don't have it.
Yeah.
We've just had the fires recently as well too.
Yes.
Have you seen many exclusions or clauses that around bushfires that people need to be aware of? Like, there's just...
No.
No, that's pretty...
Yeah, most of the insurers, I mean, we had them out just recently.
Yep.
Yesterday, actually, one of the companies came out to our office on the way through, and we're talking, but they just pay up straight away.
Excellent.
You know, especially when they've totally lost everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about some of those weird things that people need insured within their house. What's the weirdest thing you've seen on a policy?
Weirdest thing?
Or the most interesting? What's something that you just thought, didn't think about that?
I haven't really come across them. I mean, most of the things with home insurance is really like...
Pretty standard.
Your jewellery or artwork or statues.
Books? Has anyone had any?
Actually, yes. One of my clients had a lot of books.
Yep.
And they lost everything.
Okay.
And it's a bit like books or CDs or albums. You know, if there is a claim, like a theft or a fire, unless it's a catastrophe, you really have to provide proof of what you had.
Yes, and so people probably need to document it a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. I often say to clients, take photos. You know, even take photos of everything in your house, to be honest, or a video, because if you lose everything, you don't know what you had.
Yes, and so you can't remember what to replace.
Yeah. And if there is a dispute, which we haven't come across, then you've got proof of what you had. So, and that, and if you've got a large book collection, it can be quite expensive, but you can't just go out and buy them. So, So if you had photos of the bookshelves and you maybe document it.
What was there? Okay, that's good. No, I'm just thinking of some of the collections my friends have. And,
even albums, and CDs.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, there'd be another one, wouldn't they?
Yes.
In terms of, let's say I'm a client with you for a little while. You go through a review process as well too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, and most of the time, if the insurance doesn't, goes up slightly because there's some insured, and the market, we still do review. But we do review the renewals each year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a bit of an industry question around some of that. Obviously, you've been reviewing, and I've noticed, and you've probably noticed more than me, insurance has gone up a lot over the last couple of years.
Yes, it has.
What's some of the driving factors behind that?
Bush areas.
Okay.
Yeah, used to be floods a few years ago, but now it's bush.
So anything that's in sort of a higher risk area is sort of pushing prices up.
Even just a bush area, like Strathfield, say.
Yep.
There's a lot of bush there. I live just 4 houses from the bush in Eaglehawk.
Okay.
And my insurance went up $800 because of that. So, yeah, bush is really impacting it.
Okay, so that is what's driving some of those costs.
Definitely,
okay. Interesting.
Yes.
In terms of when we talk about insurance, obviously car insurance is a big one, and there's a lot of cars out there, and people have little bumps and scrapes and all those kind of things as well too. Are you seeing it's harder and harder for people to insure cars full comprehensive, or is it just getting more expensive to do that?
It is getting more expensive, yeah. Most of the people still, I haven't had anyone change cover to third party only or anything like that, but they just review what they have.
Yep.
They might increase their excess.
Yep.
And
yes, because that's one of the ways around it, isn't it? You can either have a low excess and a high premium, or a high premium and a low excess. So it's that trade-off, isn't it?
That's right, it is. And you work with the client on that as well, and there's different levels of cover and options that they have, windscreen or hire car. And
because there is a lot of little clauses, isn't there, around if you've got the car and something happens, what you're covered for, isn't it? Like you can have a hire car if you've been a total write-off, or
if you have that option taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes you can get hire car included in policies if you're not at fault. Some don't offer that.
Okay. So again, it comes down to the details, don't it?
If you've got windscreen or hire car.
And if we talk about, let's say someone comes to you with insurance, and we're just using cars as an example at the moment, would you be able to review their existing policies and sort of talk about some of the issues that might be there within their policies? Yeah,
that's what I was going to mention. You read my mind. I have received, I received them. And if a client wants us to review, I say send us your current renewal.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what premium they're paying, because we can only offer what we have. But I can take down the details, but I can also look at what they may or may not have.
And may not realise that they're not covered for, or that's an issue.
Yes, and whether I can help them at the end of the day is irrelevant, but, often I've received one and it's a brand new car and it's a high-end car and it doesn't have windscreen. Well, I'd never offer a cover without windscreen.
Yes.
On an expensive, like it's a BMW.
Yep.
Because you're looking at $2,500.
Yes, and I think that's, some people don't realise, I think, how expensive some parts have got for cars. And they like headlights, for an example. They're a lot more expensive than they used to be, aren't they? Oh,
well, I had a claim a couple of years ago, and it was a bull bar and a headlight, and I think the headlight was nearly $3,000. It was a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yep.
And Toyotas are very expensive to insure.
Yep, and that's just the headlight. That's
nothing
else, no other bodywork or anything like that.
No.
So it does. I think that's sometimes people, I don't think, realise sometimes the cost of repair and that as well too.
Definitely, yeah, especially with the older vehicles too now, because parts are so expensive that often they have to write them off because they can't get the parts or they're too expensive.
And when you say older vehicle, and this might shock a few people, how old's an older vehicle?
Maybe even 2014.
Yep, so we're only talking 10 years.
Yes.
And I think that's people out there with the 2014 car going, I didn't think it was that old, but in the car world moves on very quickly, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And I mean, mine's 2011, and my premium's high, so...
Yep, well, I'll be in the same category, so there you go. In terms of when let's say someone comes to you and they're saying, look, can you review this and that? And they say, Angie, we want to work with you. You know what you're talking about. I had no idea about these things within the insurance. And look, to be honest, unless people love sitting up at night reading the clauses in their insurance contracts, I'm sure no one really likes doing that. What do you then charge for people to come work with you?
Well, we just we don't charge anything to provide a quote.
Yep.
So we're always happy to review the policies.
Yep.
Whether we can help them or we offer if we can't help them with the premium or the policy.
Yep.
Often sometimes we're not as cheap as what they might have, but we offer a broader cover, or they might have had an experience where it wasn't a very nice experience, and so they want to have someone look after them.
Yep.
So, I mean, most of the fees we just charge, I think a minimum of $75 for domestic insurance. So, So
very reasonable for the time saved, not sitting on the phone and dealing with all the bits and pieces that comes along with insurance.
Yes.
I'm going to ask this question. I know because I've actually been through the process with you. What happens when I need to make a claim? Do I have to go and do that on my own?
No, not at all. You give us a call and we take all the details. We lodge the claim on your behalf, and then we liaise with the insurer. If it's a car, then the assessor's appointed, and then we just monitor, make sure that you've been in contact with the repairer and it's all booked in and everything's in order. And if you need a hire car, we'll put you onto the right place to do that with the insurer.
That sounds like it's almost too easy, Angie. So there's no ringing up, sitting on hold, having to talk to the insurance company and things like that.
No.
When you make a claim, can that impact your premium?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's probably something people don't always weigh up, isn't it?
That's right.
There's the ongoing cost of, if I claim for this, that I might be able to, that might not be that much more expensive myself to do. Do I need to go through the claim process, or should I just pay that knowing that I might actually have higher premiums in future years, so it's actually costing me more in the long run?
And we'll give that advice,
Great.
Which, I have seen claims gone through, companies, and it's like for $400 or $300, and it just impacts their premium. So if a client came and they said, reversed into a poll and they've got a quote for $1,200 and their excess is $1,000, well, I'd say don't claim. Don't claim for anything under $1,300 or $1,400, because it does impact you for probably 3 years. Because if you remarket, then you have to declare claims for the last 3 years.
So it's 3 years worth of
some
claims.
are 5, but not many. Most are 3.
Okay, so it's just probably something for people to keep in mind that it can impact them.
No, it does.
Yep,
definitely.
When you're going through, we've talked about claims, but if we're going through the claim process, you're essentially the intermediary, aren't you, at the end of the day? And I know when I dealt with you for a claim a couple of years ago, it was very straightforward. Dropped it off, and then you organised the payment to the I think it was the mechanic that had to fix it in the end. But that was all done. In conjunction with yourself, rather than me having to go here and go there. And
yes, exactly. The insurer liaises with the repairer. Yep. But we're in the background making sure that everything's in order with the repairs, and everything's going to plan for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about some of your business insurance now, if that's all right.
Yes.
So we've got public liability. We've got, what else have you got in the business?
Under a standard business policy, you've got like fire and specified perils, theft, business interruption, like from a fire, glass, money. Sometimes you can have cyber. Well, cyber's a separate policy.
Yes. Do you help with cyber?
Yep, we do cyber.
Yep, excellent.
Management liability.
Yep. Cyber's probably a big one, and so in terms of that cyber security, what are some businesses probably unaware of at the moment? Because it is a growing concern, I think. And I think people aren't always aware of when they need to take it out. So, which businesses would you think need cybersecurity? Well,
I suppose it's really, how often. I suppose if you have lots of client information on your system, especially if you have like bank accounts and credit cards and private information, I suppose that's something you should definitely strongly consider.
Yes, and in terms of that cybersecurity cover. What are some of the things that impact that premium? Because I think some people think, if I've got the cover, I'll be right, but it's kind of like getting the house insurance. You never actually want to claim. You never actually want to use it.
No, you don't.
So what are some of the things that people aren't aware of when they're thinking about cybersecurity and what they might need to put in place for that? And I know you're not a tech expert, so I'm not asking for all the technical information, but I think some people are probably a little bit unaware of how exposed they might be.
Exactly, and I suppose you do need to make sure that you have all the right infrastructure with your IT company in place, and it is a requirement with cyber that you have boxes ticked. So if you have 2 people sign off any financial payments, or if any of there's changes of account details, you have that signed off. and you do regular updates with passwords and patches, I think. I think patches has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
You just have to be on top of your IT and your procedures, your risk management, because it is based on that.
Yes. And how well is that framework?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's good. In terms of public liability, what are some of the times that you see people don't think about public liability when they need to? Because I know there's probably a lot of instances where people think it'll be right or they don't need it, but what are some of the instances that people need to be thinking about public liability insurance?
Well, I haven't really come across many that don't have it.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, I've never had a discussion where someone thought they shouldn't have it. So normally they'll ring up and they're starting a business or they're remarketing their renewal, and then we just look at it and look at the options available.
Excellent.
That's fairly straightforward.
Unless
if you have a lot of like subcontractors, high payments to subcontractors, or a special industry that you work in, then it can be a bit more of a
risk.
Then we just look at specialist underwriters.
Excellent.
On
the business side of things, what are some of the issues that people may not be aware of when they're coming to insure or coming and taking out business insurance?
I suppose the main one is in underinsurance. Because underinsurance does apply to fire and specified perils and business interruption. As well as some other separate covers. But that's the biggest thing I find. And so we let the clients know and we have that discussion. But what we find is, what I found in discussions, so if you insure your premises and the building's insured, say, for $500,000 and it burnt down and it was found that it cost $1 million to replace.
We only get $500,000.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the underinsurance clause comes into play when you've insured less than 80%. So if you insure less than 80% of the replacement, you actually are penalised. So really, you've underinsured by 50%, they'll only pay you 50% of $500,000.
Yes.
So you get $250,000.
Right.
And the cost is $1 million to replace.
Okay.
So a lot of people, because when, we note underinsurance and we talk about it on our policies with our clients and renewals, and then you say, well, underinsurance applies, and I think, like a home insurance, they think, oh, well, if I'm underinsured, I'll just get what I've got. But it's not.
So, and this is specifically for business, just so people are aware that they don't
just business
rush out and think their house they're going to get
not home insurance.
So let me run through the numbers. So if it's $1 million and to replace the building, and I'm only insured for $750,000, I'm under that.
Oh, now you
okay.
Right.
So let's go 500. So we're at 50% of the value. Because I'm under that 80%, I only get 50% of what I'm insured for.
Correct.
So I'm actually penalised because I'm underinsured by so much. So what I thought was $500,000 is actually only 250, which means I'm 750 in the hole. Which is, I wasn't aware of that. So there you go. I'm learning today as well too. So underinsurance is really a big thing for businesses.
I think so too.
And I think if they're not, and this is where, again, we talk about it all the time, but you've got to be across your numbers as a business owner. You've got to be across what's happening. You've got to be understanding if turnover's increased and all of those kind of things. Have we increased our policies around that? Because I assume that underinsurance clause isn't just for building replacement. It could be for coverage if you've got a period where you can't trade and things like that.
Correct. So contents and stock under the building, that is, and business interruption, correct. So they apply in that regard too. There
you go. So underinsurance is something that everyone needs to be conscious of if they are a business owner and they aren't doing what they need to. That is really good to think about. Is there anything else that you see out there on the business side? Are there clauses that people get tripped up on? Is there things that people go, I wasn't aware of that, or sort of fly blindly on? Or do you think most people you deal with listen to your sage advice?
Well, sometimes. But look, they have. You just have to make sure that what you do is covered under the policy. Just read your invoice and just check what business activities you've noted. Because sometimes, you might note that you're doing certain occupation, but you might tend to do other business activities. And so, or because you've got public liability, it doesn't mean you're covered for everything you do, only what's listed on the policy.
And so if I use an example, and it's let's say you've got a retailer, it's a florist, and they've been trading as a florist for a while, and then they start doing deliveries as well. If they don't have that change of, would that be enough?
That might be okay because it's incidental to their business. Every florist delivers. It's more like if you were, say, a plumber and you also had an electrician working with you and you did electrical work. You're not covered for electrical if it's not noted.
Yep. Okay. Good example.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Is there any industries that are more high risk that you see out there? We've just talked about builders. Is that one that sits in the high risk category? Or
plumbers are yeah,
okay.
just because of just their industry.
Yep. Are there any other industries that you sort of stand out to you that you think that's a high risk area or people need to be thinking?
Anything
more about?
with mining.
Mining.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Just, mining and those sort of industries that they would be high risk, but So there are high risk, occupations out there, but
yes, they're from a business perspective.
Yeah, we've got specialist underwriters that we go to.
Yep.
So because not the standard business insurers will cover the high risk or different appetite. So we've got those opportunities there.
And I think that's something that people aren't always aware of either, is that as a broker, you've got access to probably people that they don't think about, don't you?
Yes, we do, Yeah, so we've got specialist underwriters with, business and liability and property, professional indemnity. So, so if they don't sit in the standalone box, then we've got specialists available.
That you can bring in to help support that. And they're probably not people who are readily available to the public, are they?
They're not.
Okay, so there you go. So you have access to certain underwriters and markets that most people wouldn't even know exist.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. So there's a tip for everyone. If you're unsure, know that there is extra support out there.
That's right.
That when you need. In terms of when you're thinking about engaging specialists or different underwriters, do you have them for household and cars as well, or is it more just on the business side that you see?
We do have specialist high-end insurers for homes and cars, yes.
Yep. And so if someone's got maybe a specific custom home or something like that they think I need someone to understand me, and I need the right kind of insurance, you can come along.
Yes.
I assume historic falls under that category as well too sometimes.
Yes, it does, but architecturally designed, and if you've got a house, 7 million or 10 million, or there's a specialist underwriter there that provide the highest level of cover.
Yes, and probably understands the nuances of those buildings and what it means to cover those buildings, because I think sometimes that can be the difference, can't it, with some of those high-end things. And you talk about high-end cars and special parts that would sit on those cars. It's the same for houses. There'd be certain houses with certain infrastructure or certain components that a normal insurer wouldn't consider, and so they would say, well, it's this, but we're only covering this, and then you might be out of pocket at the end of the day.
Normally the policies are very comprehensive, so there wouldn't be any issues because you put all the information in, but with the high end, they actually would go and value the house. They have their own valuers, property valuers, and they go out and do an appraisal and do a full property valuation, and then they will offer an extended replacement cover. So say they value it and they say, well, you should insure it for 7 million. And if there was a fire and it was cost 9 million, well, they'll just pay.
Okay, there you go. So that's
the
value.
highest.
Yes, that's the value of if you've got those certain scenarios, seeking specialists who understand and can do what needs to be done.
That's right. And some clients, want to pay for that, and that's fine. That's
no, that's good. Talking about underinsurance a little bit more. Obviously, the business one, I wasn't aware of the caveats there, but that's all right. On the house side, though, I'm conscious that over the last 5 years, replacement costs have skyrocketed for a range of reasons. Do you see that a lot of people have got underinsured houses these days, or they're not actually aware of what it would cost to replace their current home?
They're probably not aware more so than... and it's hard to know what they should have from our perspective, and we always recommend that they, review their sums insured, and often in discussions, I say, well, you can either get your property valued by a qualified valuer, and I think that's about maybe $600 or $700, or the next best person. I always say, a builder, if you know any friends or family or builders, that's their industry. And so they should be able to give you some sort of idea or where it would sit.
Yes, and to make sure...
That's what I recommend, and because that's their industry.
Yes,
so,
and to make sure you've actually got the right cover to meet that. Because I think that's something people aren't always aware of. They think I've got the cover, but if it's not enough, they're not going to be... If a fire comes through or something like that, there might be...
a gap in the cover, and that way they'll either just have to build something smaller,
or go back and get more up
if they want to rebuild
or something like that as well too. Yeah, which isn't great.
Yeah, but I do find like more so contents is actually where a lot of people probably don't have enough cover.
Okay, so talk me through contents, because I know there's things that people don't consider when they're thinking about contents, or they look around the house and go, should be about this. So what are some of the things that you see with contents that people don't understand or don't get?
Well, I think just the replacement. And when you sit down and add it all up, because you've got all your furniture and your appliances, your tools in the shed, your personal tools, and all just your personal belongings and what's in the kitchen, and it just adds up. And it's new for old.
Okay.
Sometimes clothing and linen can be depreciated, but most of the time it's new for old. And so when you sit down, we've got a one-page document just lists all the rooms, and so when you sit down and think, okay, couch is new for old, and this, it soon adds up. And when you have a catastrophe or a loss, then that's where you're going to be out of pocket.
Yep, I think I might go through that exercise with my wife and make sure that we're covered. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be wrong, so you can correct me. On the content side, it also is flooring, isn't it? And curtains as well.
Carpets and curtains and blinds, yes. So if you've got like timber floors, that's building, but carpet comes under content. So
you, on top of going through all the rooms and saying, what does this cost, you've got to add someone come in and put new carpet, and then curtains as well.
Correct.
So if you've got if you've spent a bit of money on curtains as well, that all adds up.
Like shutters and things, they're expensive, and also like fridges and washing machine and dishwashers come under building.
Okay. And so the dishwasher comes under building.
And the oven the fridge, because you can move it.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Movable content. So
there you go. If there's a special item, like I know you've asked in the past about jewellery, or if someone's got a bike that's worth a lot of money, not me, but if you've got a bike that's worth a lot of money or something like that, you can put them as separate items, can't you? You can.
There's two levels of cover with home insurance. There's a listed events, which is just the defined events: fire, storm, theft, burst pipe, and then you can have an accidental damage cover.
Okay.
And that covers accidents on your home and contents.
Right.
If you drop a television moving it, or a ladder goes through the wall while you're changing a light globe. But the policies that we offer covers your contents away from the home.
Okay.
And so if you had a bike, some policies have limits, like up to 5,000.
Yep.
But they cover bikes, so if you have a bike and you have an incident, and it covers jewellery and watches away from the home.
Okay.
Some limits up to 10,000.
So let's say, as an example, I'm travelling and I've gone away, and my jewellery gets stolen.
Yep.
That can actually be covered.
Yes, it would be.
I'm not at home.
It would be. If you had the accidental damage with us, with our policies, I'm not sure about the direct markets. Yep. They're a bit different with theirs.
Yes, and that's probably the other thing to keep in mind is, again, coming back to the clauses, isn't it? And it's all about understanding for people what they've got, and if they're not sure, come and see you and go through the process of saying, well, what do we need to consider? Yeah,
because sometimes clients do come with their documents, and they might have listed items, like a $3,000 ring or a $5,000 watch. And so we would look at that and say, okay, well, under our accidental damage policy, they'll be automatically covered.
Yes.
So you just make sure the sum insured includes it, and
Perfect.
And I often say to clients, if you've got jewellery or artwork, just, you can send photos to us and we can keep them on your file only. And that way, if you do lose something, you've got proof of ownership.
Yes, and you've got it as well too.
That's right. Well, that's why we've got it.
If the phone's been damaged or something else as well too, then all of a sudden you can't get the photos that you need to prove that. Yeah,
you have to have proof of the ownership.
Yep.
With any claim.
Yep. There you go. Is there anything that, let's say, I come to you and we've reviewed the policy and we want to change or anything like that? What are some of the things that people need to do if they're going to come and change over to you and you just start taking over? Is it a lengthy process? Is there lots of forms to fill out? Is it as painless as putting a claim in with you, Angie, or is there more involved?
I'd like to hope so. No, you just give us a call and we can take down some details, and it's like with send your current renewal.
Yep.
Because that's the best thing to do to make sure, because we need to quote apples for apples as well.
Yes.
If you've got an accidental damage cover, I don't want to quote you a listed events.
Yes.
And then we can get the information, look at our options. I normally email the quote.
Yep.
And then they might call and just go through it, and it's just a matter of replying to the email and saying they're happy to proceed, and that's it.
And one of the other things which I think people aren't always aware of too is you do cover notes as well. So we were going to buy a car and we got a cover note for, I think it was the day of getting it back or something like that as well too. So you can help with that if people are buying a new car or something too.
That's right. Yeah, it's actually we just added it to the existing policy, or we changed the existing policy.
Okay.
Yeah, or we can do a new one. They don't really do cover notes as such anymore, but it's like a policy or a cover. It's a cover.
Old-fashioned.
No,
when I say that.
no, the cover's still in place.
There you go. And people, do they forget to cancel their insurance if they've made changes sometimes?
You mean if they don't want to proceed?
Well, let's say they've sold a car and they forget to come and say to you that car was haven't had that for 6 months, or
we do get that sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can't backdate too far, but if you have proof of sale, the insurers will look at that.
That will help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just something for people to keep in mind is where is it and how much have you got and is it relevant? So,
exactly.
No, that's good. What are some of the things that impact the premiums for cars? What are some of the things that you see? Like is it if it's stored in the garage, if you've got a young driver, a learner driver, and those kind of things? Are they all things that can impact the policy? Or?
Young drivers can, if you wanted to note them.
Yep.
But the learners don't affect anything.
Okay, great. Yep.
So that's not an issue. So, well, in most cases, unless you've got a special vehicle that's on a special policy.
Yep, okay.
Like a high-end vehicle.
Yep.
Might want to check that one.
Make sure you've got something a little bit more generic to learn in. Yep,
exactly.
No, that's fair enough. And where they're stored, is that impacted as well? If they're in a garage or if they're...
It can do. It can do. It might be a little bit cheaper.
Depending on where it's located and those kind of things as well. Is that probably more the impact of where...
The location.
The location.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the actual risk of this area?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I had a client who's got a caravan and they moved to Queensland and their premium went up $600.
Just because they're in Queensland?
Yeah.
Right.
With all those recent storms.
Yes,
yeah.
and people don't always think about the trade-offs sometimes.
No. So it definitely impacts premiums.
Okay. That's really good. Is there anything any advice that you'd have for listeners out there that you think, I would love them to know this, I'd love them to keep this in mind when they're thinking about insurance? Because I think insurance, and I've talked about it with clients, whether it's their general insurance, their life insurance, where it's something that they need to do and they don't ever get on. It's never urgent until the day that the house is flooded or the bushfire's coming, and then all of a sudden they're thinking about their policy. So what do you have any tips for people to be conscious of, or things that you find they sort of let go when they should be? Just
maybe have a look at it. If they haven't looked at it for a while and they just, often you have the discussion, people say, I just roll it over. I don't look at it and it's time now.
Yes.
And that's probably a good thing, just have a look at what you have, and if, maybe do some reviewing. Have a look at what it says you've got cover for and what you haven't.
Yep. And if they're not sure, come and see you and you can help them through the process.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, very good. Well, Angie, I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for your insights, your knowledge and experience around insurance. I know for some listeners out there, they probably think insurance isn't exciting, but I also think too, it could be costing you a lot of money that you're not thinking about, or you could be on the other side. It could cost a lot of money if something happens and you're not actually insured the way you need to. So it's something that I think we need to be conscious of. Yeah. And if it's done right, we can sleep well at night.
Exactly right.
Is sort of what I think. So
Thank you, Kris, for having me.
Thank you, Angie. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks.